entry level and job at entry level is something which is going to reduce because of AI for sure in white collars. 2 lakhs of the jobs we are going to missing out in banking and the white collars.
Content creators are using AI to enhance their skills of, let's say, editing their videos. So AI is helping them out, not taking away those jobs, it is creating new jobs.
The sovereign AI can protect our national security, and the government AI can protect the public services. We are having shortage of AI compute power on which these models run, and also we are having shortage of AI skilled workforce.
For example, coding jobs, they are going to be the ones that are most affected in the first hand. First order effects are going to be upon those jobs that AI is going to, let's say, take over.
Hello everyone, welcome to this new episode of the Perspectives by Vision Eyes. We're living in an era in which there does not exist a bigger buzzword than artificial intelligence or AI. And it won't be wrong to say that sometimes the word fear is interchangeably used with AI, especially when it comes to job opportunities and employment. The Economic Survey 2025 flagged growing anxiety surrounding AI-led displacement in India's labor market. Now, what exactly this AI has in store? That is what this discussion is going to all about. We are joined by 3 eminent faculty members of Vision IS, Sunil Sir, Aditya Sir, and Brijesh Sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Now, sir, let's begin this session with the first question for Sunil Sir. Sir, how exactly has AI affected or shaped India's labor ecosystem?
Look, as you rightly said, that it's almost interchangeably used with the fear. But before that, I would like to say that in every society, it happens that whenever such breakthroughs happen, this fear is imminent. So if you remember when in 1980s, we got robotics coming, we thought the blue collars job will disappear. But on the contrary, they still exist. So first thing first, as Economic Survey rightly says in 2025, and many data are showing, if you see that data entry level and job at entry level is something which is going to reduce because of AI for sure in white collars. That is something which is a harsh reality, we all have to admit. But it does not mean that jobs are vanishing. As I was just saying, in 1980s when robotics came and we got machines and robots working in factories, it does not mean blue collar disappeared. They went more into securities, they got reskill, upgradation of the skills. So similarly, this time in India, as we look at Indian market, there is no doubt about it that Gen Zs are going to have lesser opportunities. Bloomberg has given recently a report that more than 2 lakhs of the jobs we are going to missing out in banking and the white collars. So jobs will be changing, but it would be wrong to say that they're vanishing. We have to relook into the things. We have to identify what are the new challenges and what are the new scopes. So it would be little unfair to say that jobs are not going for the white collars, but it will be again wrong to say that jobs are vanishing.
Thank you, sir. Now coming to Aditya, sir. So the question for you is, how is this AI disruption affecting the broader sectoral and economic side of this market?
Okay, so one thing, as you began with saying that the word AI, and Sir also commented on that, associated with fear, synonymous with fear. I think that going ahead, we all realize that probably job loss would be amongst the least of the fears, if not the least, but amongst the least. There are much bigger fears that AI poses. In any case, let's stick to the job market scenario. As Sir rightly pointed out that, let's say when we go back to 80s robotics, there was a fear of AI, of machines taking over jobs. Regarding the question on risks that the economy or sectors are facing, let's take a step back and then realize this thing. So let's go to Industrial Revolution, 1700s, 1800s. There is something different about those revolutions of 1700s or 1900s or 80s, the most recent one, or let's say the current one which we are saying, GPT-4 or let's say AI. In past, whenever some new technology has come up that disrupts the current way of manufacturing, generally there was a leader and others one adopted to that technology. So because somebody is leading, that leader would face the risks. So as adopters learned from the risks of the leaders, generally everybody had some time to adapt to the challenges that were being thrown by adoption of new technologies. This time, if I may use the word, it's far more democratized. Everybody is in a, let's say, race to develop AI. It's affecting everybody, and there is not exactly, frankly, a leader in adoption of AI. There are leaders and developers of AI, but everybody is going to be affected almost equally and at the same time. So challenges that, let's say, American economy is facing, or Chinese is facing, or Indian is facing, everybody is going to be facing challenges at the same time. We have very less time to adopt to those risks. Same thing goes for sectors as well. So multiple sectors, all sectors facing similar risks, and the risk is that of unknown, that of uncertainty. We are very early in stages to comment about what kind of risks would economy face, or let's say sectors face. Some things that we can talk about, as Sir said, that some jobs would certainly disappear, but what new jobs would come and take their place, nobody knows what jobs would come. So we are talking about prompt engineers now. We are talking about somebody who's expert in, let's say, uh, assessing the data, and sometimes we use the word loosely, control the AI, control the person entity which is taking decision. Some new jobs would appear. We don't know what those jobs would be. But certainly many jobs are going to be protected even in case of labor intensive industry. Take for example tailoring jobs, stitching of clothes. I don't think so that AI is taking away those jobs. Maybe a robot someday would, maybe some machine would, but AI, referencing AI to some decision making entity, AI is not going to take up those jobs of, let's say, artisans. So risks right now are a lot in the unknown territory. As far as jobs are concerned, let's not be fearful about the job losses. Certainly, yes, the opportunities that we have had versus opportunities that the coming generation would have. I'll just close by one point. Take, for example, self employment. Self employment is kind of a reality today, and today we have a lot of people who are self employed. Can AI not assist the self employed to enhance their skills? Take, for example, content creators. Content creators are using AI to enhance their skills of, let's say, editing their videos, or even expressing their content in a more structured, more understandable, more presentable manner. So AI is helping them out, not taking away those jobs, it is creating new jobs. But still, this is just this beginning of the change that we are going to see. So I think that there is uncertainty, and that uncertainty is the risk, not as such that is not too much defined risk.
So we can say there are certain things about which we are absolutely certain, but there are also certain facets which are absolutely uncertain.
Yeah.
Now, Brijesh sir, in this slide, with regard to, like, when it comes to an emerging technology, not the story gradually unfolds, and the same is happening with AI. So in this context, what can sovereign AI or government AI offer? Can it offer a balanced technological alternative?
Okay. So first we need to understand what is sovereign AI and what is government AI. Sovereign AI means if a country controls and develops AI systems, its infrastructure, data, modeling, without any help of any foreign tech giants. That is sovereign AI. Government AI means it refers to the use of AI by the states for public services like education, health, agriculture, and governance also. So, why the balance is needed? Because, on the one hand, sovereign AI can ensure one is data security, then we have strategic autonomy, and also cultural alignment, which is very vital for a country like India. On the other hand, the government AI ensures transparency and also efficient public service delivery to its citizens. So, with this, we can say the sovereign AI can protect our national security, and the government AI can protect the uh, the public services or the public interest, we can say rightly. So, if I take some examples, like how it can work. Like if I take the example of sovereign AI, India AI mission, it aims to create infrastructure and Indian language LLMs, large language models. This is we can call sovereign AI in action. More than 10,000 crore is being pumped in this. And if I take examples of some platforms like AI based soil health apps and this traffic management, AI chatbots, these are the examples of government AI. So, what can be the perfect scenario if we combine these two things? Like India has developed a sovereign AI in the field of agriculture, some models it has developed, and these are being used in, let's say, Krishi Vigyan Kendras. So, India is having sovereign AI and using that model in different sectors like agriculture, it can be anything. But what I'm seeing that this is going to provide an alternative, a balanced alternative. But there are some challenges to it. Like we are having shortage of AI compute power on which these models run. And also we are having shortage of AI skilled workforce. And if we started using like sovereign AI and government AI, the combination of these two, we can have the challenge in future that is of government AI overreach. Like in this process a lot of data is going to get used, so there can be risk of surveillance. Then one more thing, how are we going to ensure regional inclusion and also ethical safeguards? So yes, sovereign AI and government AI can provide a balanced alternative if government puts priority over regional inclusion, public trust, and also if it is ensured that AI serves people, not the power.
Thank you, sir. Now, sir, if we compare this AI-led growth or development to a river, then we just touched upon one bank, that is the government side. Now coming to the private side. Now this AI development has actually AI-related developments have given rise to so many jobs, different types of employment, and this labor force is in a way hidden from the public side. Can you shed some light on this invisible labor force?
All right. As he was saying rightly, that both the government AI and the sovereign AI. Look, end of the day, we need labor forces, and when it comes to hidden labor forces, as you're using a term, hidden labor force imply here three things. Firstly, that those labor forces which are there working as annotators, editors, and data entry for AI, on other kind of logistic support in AI, are we acknowledging them? That is what, because most of the time, despite the fact that they are sizable in number, they have important roles to play, they often get unnoticed. So we need to identify that labor force is also going to be of great significance, especially in some sectors. So that is one part of hidden labor, and that need to be acknowledged. Even in the AI mission, as Sir was talking about, for that matter, agriculture, Internet of Things. So for Internet of Things in agriculture, as we are developing our sovereign AIs, it's very important that we need sensor, we need management of those sensor, and all those kind of things. So yes, uh, there are hidden labor forces. They need to be acknowledged. They need to be identified that what kind of challenges they are facing and they are going to face. And very importantly, this is what I think we are missing. It's a kind of blind spot that while making policies, thinking of AI, we are looking from the top. We are not acknowledging those people, those, you can say, the ground level support system, which is equally needed for the AI. As Aditya Sir was rightly saying that even various jobs, there are various things which are going to be coexisting along with this AI, you can say, euphoria. So considering all that, that has to be acknowledged. we have to make sure that in our policies, programs, and whenever we are thinking of AI, they are being given the due acknowledgements. More importantly, we have to skill them up accordingly, because again, AI is going to impact different sectors differently. So depending upon what kind of impact, where they need to be acknowledged, they need to be trained, and at the same time they should be brought into the main framework of the employment policies. So I would like to add one thing here, that when it comes to say government AI, what is important is that skill mapping. This is something which even recently the Telangana Chief Minister has also talked about. The time has come for skill mapping, that which kind of skill is where and how that could be incorporated with this AI challenge and the associated things. So they are the hidden labors, and these blind spots should be well identified, because India still is having a fair chance, and I think we all will agree on this, that India still has a fair chance of highly skilled, low cost labor force for this new emerging technologies. This is where India can take edge, and this is what I think what would like to call hidden labors to be worked upon.
Thank you, sir. We'll also talked about the skill status of India's labor force. We'll come back to that. Before that, I'd like to know from Aditya sir. Sir, what roles or what collective role do the corporate sector and private players have to play?
So regarding the role that private sector or corporate sector can play towards, let's say, a just transition towards AI, few things. One, I don't think so that even the government is clear, for that matter, not just Indian or any government, American or German or Japanese, that they are clear about what kind of role do they are they going to play or they envisage for even themselves in future. So as I said, that there is huge uncertainty over here. We can't expect private sector to take steps by themselves voluntarily, especially when government itself may not be aware of these things. Further, I think that would be even a bigger disaster, that government without having clarity of, and it can't have clarity, government without having a decent clarity of clear clarity of what are the possibilities of future, it forces something down private sector's throat that you have to do these things. I think so that is going to be a lot premature. Having said that, yes, there are some things that I believe private sector should be doing, and as Sir has also pointed out, skill mapping or skilling, for example. Like recently, we have seen that Microsoft has fired certain employees, number of employees, and whatever reason they are giving for AI or investments, fact is that yes, many jobs, for example, coding jobs, they are going to be the ones that are most affected in the first order effects are going to be upon those jobs that AI is going to, let's say, take over. So yes, there is a fear of jobs loss. AI will do things. There are a lot of uncertainties. What can the private sector do? Yes, they should invest in improving the skills of the workers. But that again relies on one part, which is to realize that, okay, I have some resources available with me, let's say profits, I can spend that money in skilling of my workforce. I'm sure many private entities do spend money on skilling of the workforce already, but at the same time, they will have to ensure that they are providing now the right or the more relevant skills in this regard. For example, emotional intelligence is what we talk about in ethics. So, for example, treating AI and its impact by incorporating some emotional aspects. That is something the private sector can look forward to. Setting some red lines or boundaries as to where am I going to use AI, or what kind of models am I going to use, what kind of decision making would be there, would that be a final decision or not? There can be some red lines that they can set. Still, there would be one very important aspect. We are in a very big competition. Everybody is competing over here. And since everybody is competing, everybody is trying to ensure that one, their bottom line, as in profits, get maximized as quickly as possible, because AI, like other technologies, enables scale, enables massive scale. So if, let's say, Visionize is using AI today, our objective would be, let's say we have to scale up our operations quite quickly. We can. It enables us to scale up our operation. It enables an individual content creator to scale up their operations. So right now we are in that huge competition when everybody is trying to use AI as much as they can to their initial advantage and get some first mover advantage. So private sector right now is in this competition. If this involves, for example, cutting back on some labor force, then they are doing it already. We have seen this thing. But the role that they have to play is they would have to, it's easier said than done, but they can, let's say, take a step back and see what kind of business opportunities do we envisage, what kind of role can my current workforce play, what kind of right skills can I provide to them, and then take some steps to ensure that growth is not achieved at the cost of cutting jobs. As in, as I said, it's easier said than done, but there would have to be some thinking on the part of the corporates in this regard. So many corporates are taking actions in this regard, as in they have now established special cells wherein they are trying to implement, they are trying to assess impact assessment of AI on their business, on employees' welfare, on skills that are required for them to be ready for future. So this is the least that we can expect from them. Last point before I cut down myself. Recently, Elon Musk, Elon Musk's Grok AI, it went berserk in some extent. As in, it somebody asked a question, it responded in a manner that was not politically acceptable to the, let's say, current party in power in US. So Elon Musk said that, okay, I'm going to treat it, I'm going to retrain it. Retrained Grok and then starts making a lot of anti-Semitic comments. So what kind of database is being used to train AI? This is kind of a red line that we can expect that private corporate sector is going to draw. So it's not just going to come about at the cost of, let's say, I expand my Twitter database and for that I'll say things that are more appealing to the public. I have to draw some red lines as to whatever database I'm using, people I'm using, codes that I'm using, they have to be sensitive, they have to be as far as possible neutral. They must be taking care of not just my profits, but other ethical things in general. So that is what I expect the private sector can do.
Thank you, sir. That was a very comprehensive analysis. Now, Sunil sir, would like to know from you, taking into consideration the fact that India is a labor surplus economy, so how well equipped or how adequately skilled is India's labor force to make the most of the opportunities?
There is no need, there is no doubt about it that there is gap between what is called skill and industry's requirement. In fact, if we for a moment just keep this AI out of equation, then even in India we have the challenge of employability because of lack of necessary skills which are industry need of the industry. So there is visible gap, and this is where it is an advantage to us also that if we could develop our new workforce, new labor force, keeping this new challenge of the AI in mind, especially not just the core jobs, the peripheral jobs also, because the kind of labor force we have and the kind of skills they have, we should not be expecting hikes, expertise from them. In fact, this is one thing I'd like to say. Economic Survey has given the data that high skill white collars are going to get more affected with the AI. So that is there. And then those who are Gen Gs with best of the institutions expecting that package, they are going to get affected. Those who are in the hardwares, those who are into that kind of editing work, and they are going to stay this way or that, because end of the day it's data management. End of the day they need continuous inputs, and as I was saying that they have to be politically correct also. That's another challenge now we have just faced. It's one of those things which I would like to say brace the uncertainty. So in that case, yes, we need to identify where is the gap between the industries and the skills needed for it, map it properly, assign it with your education policies, and promote those kind of independent, as Sir was saying rightly. I think one thing I would like to add here, that we should think of something called employment linked incentives. That we are having PLI, we should be talking, we are talking about it now. So what is employment linked incentive? If you are giving them training, if you are providing them the skills, if you develop your own skill development center as per the requirement, definitely will give you incentives. So that kind of thing is needed, first thing first. Second part, which is very important from the labor point of view, is that we have to promote vernacular languages, because in our skill training, one of the challenges also the say the language itself. And when we are developing the middle order labor force, vernacular languages, if promoted, would be very useful for us. And otherwise, AI is also going to get more, let's say, tailor-made in future as per the requirements. In that case, the diversity should be encashed. So vernacular languages, AI in vernacular tools, and these kind of things also should be taken care of. And at the same time, the third part I would like to say that it's again very important that private sectors may do it, corporates may do it, provided you are providing a kind of policy framework to them, which is lagging, I think, everywhere. As Sir was rightly saying, none of the government as of now is clear that what exactly they have to do with the AI. Now, artificial intelligence is fine. It's going to stay there. It is definitely one of the major breakthroughs we are witnessing in what you call IR 4.0. But then even we need to have a clear picture. I like this comparison which Sir was putting. Earlier we had a leader also. We need a leader now. A leader may come not always in a personal way. It's not a person. It may be the policy itself. So the time has come when the government should take that first move, and India should take that move because India is already facing the challenge of employability otherwise. So if we could take it right well in time, well, our AI, our education policy, and even the expectations of the private sector, they're aligned together, the database is prepared, that skill mapping is done, who is where and what kind of contribution they can do. And we also need to think of what is called regional inclusivity, because in these things again regional imbalances are there. So then only we could create a win-win situation, and that is perhaps is going to give India that edge, because otherwise also India's labor force is something which is well equipped for these things, considering international clientele in mind. So then probably we might be in the win-win situation for us and maybe for the whole world.
Thank you, sir. Now, we'd like to come to the last question before this session concludes. And this question is for Brijesh Sir. So, with so many possibilities, challenges, and different facets associated with this AI-led development, what, according to you, should a long-term, inclusive, and ethical strategy look like?
So, if we want to have a long term, ethical, inclusive strategy for it, it should be about making sure that what Sir has said already, it should be made available for all, it should be useful for all. It should not be like for just tech companies or urban elites. It should be for farmers, workers, small businesses, students. So, in a way, we can say AI must be used responsibly, fairly, and in a way, it should reflect Indian democratic and societal values. So, if I say there are 3 4 pillars to that, the first thing is very important, that is fairness and access. What Sir has already discussed about it. Fairness and access, that means AI should be free from bias. It means it should not be just for English, there must be regional languages also. Access, access must be given to rural and marginalized communities also. That means AI must work for poor as well as privileged. The third thing I would add here, the transparency. AI, AI is being used, so everyone should have the right to know how decisions are being made by AI. Like, for example, the credit score, hiring, and among other things, AI is being used as a decision maker. And this accountability thing, which Sir were discussing about it, how we can make AI accountable. That means who are using AI, institutions and companies. So for that we need to have a policy, or we need to have a law, so that we can make AI explainable and auditable. And last but not the least, this AI thing should be having human centric approach. What do you mean by it? That means AI must be used for augmenting people, not for replacing people. For that, sir has already mentioned about skill mapping thing. So that is very important. So we need to skill and reskill our youth for new kind of jobs. Few jobs we know, and we don't know in future what can be other kind of jobs like data labeler, AI testers, drone pilots. So for these kind of jobs, we need to skill and reskill our youth. And also one more thing, we need to have human AI collaborations in the field of education, in the field of agriculture, in the field of health. So if all these things are done right, we can be a leader in the world which is going to build an AI which is not just smart but just. So if I say what can be the long term strategy, it should be the blending of innovation and inclusivity so that we don't leave millions behind, but instead we can lift millions ahead.
Rightly
That
said.
is what is required.
So the discussion related to the economic impact of AI disruption has been well dealt with. Now, dear viewers, we hope you enjoyed the session. You can also share your views and post comments. We'll keep coming up with more such topics. Till then, wish you all the very best.